So I was a hairdresser in Canada. I'm from Northern Ontario, Canada, Sudbury, Ontario to be exact. It's a mining town of about, maybe it's about 175,000 people. Northern Ontario, so you can imagine the winters are really, really brutal. Um, yeah, and I'm not a winter person. Anyway, so I was a hairdresser there for 25 years, and the 2013, I think 2012, no, it was 2012, I had just left an abusive relationship, and I had spent a year, doing on a healing journey and rediscovering my purpose and who am I and what do I want and what I want out of life. And I just, there were so many questions at that time that I was asking. I was 52 years old at the time. So if you want to do the math, I'm 58. I'm 58 years old this year. I'll save you the trouble of doing the math. I am 58. But at the time, I had just crossed 50, 52 years old. And I was starting to ask myself all these questions. Oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? The last 52 years of my life, sometimes as fun as they were, I dealt with an awful lot of abuse, emotional, physical, sexual, verbal, mental. My whole life was just spent being abused, not having any voice, not having any self-respect or self-love, self-confidence, all the selves. I didn't have anything. When I left my relationship in 2012, I was literally a shell of a human being. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? Here I am at 52 and look at my life. My life is a fucking train wreck. So what am I going to do now? Sorry, I swear I should have told you that. I swear if you're not into swearing, maybe you can turn this off and go to another channel. I swear, I'm sorry. So I spent the year healing, rediscovering myself. What do I want to do? I was wallowing in self-pity. I mean, I went through a whole year almost of self-pity. Oh my God, poor me. Look at my life. My life sucks. This is horrible. It was ridiculous. How I had any friends is beyond, I don't even know why they even hung around me, because all I did was whine and complain about my life because it was horrible. So I started volunteering at the homeless shelter. Something that I've always wanted to do, and I met a friend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I volunteer at the homeless shelter." I'm like, "Oh, I think I'd really love to do that." So I went to the homeless shelter, and I started off just feeding dinner twice a month, and I loved it so much. Like, volunteering at the homeless shelter for me was the catalyst for my entire life overhaul. It really was. So I started volunteering, and then I was doing that twice a month. And then after about a year, I became a team captain, and then I was there like almost every day. But it made me stop and think, okay, this is something that I really, really love doing. I'm really passionate about doing, but I wanted to do it on a grander scale. So I'm just going to fast forward and skip all the minute details. I went on a volunteer mission trip to Costa Rica. It was really eye-opening. And when I got back to Canada, I thought, okay, you know what? This is something I want to do all the time. Like, I want to be somewhere where poverty is like a major problem. Homelessness is a major problem. Malnutrition. So I decided at that time that I was going to try to see what I got to do to completely change my life, my career and everything, so that I could move to Central America and just do this. I can work as a freelancer, and I can help the poor people and the hungry people and the homeless people and all that stuff. So that's what I did. So I became, oh sorry, my dog is kicking around here somewhere. So I learned how to become a freelance writer, keeping in mind I was still a hairdresser at this time. I learned how to become a freelance writer, and I just started looking for jobs. It took a really long time. I'm not going to lie about that. It took me about 6 months. 6 months of writing and just submitting articles for free, just so people could see who I am and what my work was all about, because nobody knew who the fuck I was. So I did that for free for about 6 months. And then finally somebody started accepting my articles still for free. And then it was probably about 6 months after that that I actually found work as a freelance writer. Somebody actually hired me full-time to do freelance writing. So it was a year for me to take my hairdressing career and completely just say goodbye to that, hang up my cutting shears, and become a freelance writer. And once I became a freelance writer, then my next step was to pick a country that I wanted to move to. And I ended up in Guatemala, and this actually wasn't even a country that I was even considering when I thought about going to Central America. I had a tea leaf reader choose my country for me because I didn't know it. I'm a Libra. I suck at making decisions. So I had a tea leaf reader tell me to go to Guatemala, and that's how I ended up down here. And I really, really, really love Guatemala. Guatemala is beautiful and the people are amazing. But that's that's kind of the path that I took to become to be able to leave my country and move out of my country and become an expat in a totally different country where it doesn't snow. Yay. But what I want to share with you right now is, because everybody says, oh, you know, how did you do it? How did you do it? Well, I was determined to do it. You have to have determination. I got so tired of the life that I was living, and I knew that there had to be something more. I knew there had to be something more. I knew that this was the life in Canada as a hairdresser, cutting hair for somebody else and building somebody else's dream. I was tired of that. That wasn't for me anymore. So your desire to change has to be greater than your desire to stay in misery. All right. And I know what it's like to live in misery because I lived in misery most of my life, to be honest. But your desire to change has to be bigger. Like, it has to overpower your desire to stay in misery. So when you're ready to take that leap, when you're ready to make that change, when you've decided, okay, you know what? I fucking had enough. I've had enough. When you get to that point, it's a really good point, actually. But when you get to that point, that's when you're going to be like, all right, what do I got to do now? What's my next step? What do I have to do now? And that's when you start looking into all your options. Now, I know that some women over 50 are already close to retirement. They have a great little retirement package. You can, get that, and then you can go anywhere. I didn't have that. I'm not retired. I didn't have a retirement package. I had to still work. So I had to find ways to still be able to work and leave my country and still be able to support myself, which is why I became a freelancer. So for those women, for those of you who are close to retirement and do have a nice comfy little retirement package waiting for you when you retire, then if where you're living doesn't really interest you anymore, or you want to leave the country, it's really not that hard to do. I joined a few Facebook groups for different countries, and I asked a bunch of questions, and I, met some people and asked a bunch of questions, and no question is a dumb question. If you, let's say, for example, you think you want to move to Asia, let's just say Asia. So go and join some Facebook groups, expat Facebook groups in Asia, and start asking questions. How did you do it? What do you need? What's the healthcare system like? Is it safe? I mean, you ask whatever you want to ask, and everybody is more than happy to answer your questions, because everybody was exactly where you are right now. Everybody started at zero. We all did. So join Facebook groups for the country that you have on your radar that maybe you think you might want to move to. Ask some questions, get some information. It's really, really easy to do that. People are very helpful. And start planning, like literally start planning and preparing for your move. And I probably right now, it might be a little bit of an iffy time because borders are open, borders are closed. What's the COVID like? I mean, I know COVID has really put a damper on a lot of people's travel plans, but some places are still open. Borders are still open. Like I was over in Mexico for a year, and I had to wait for the Guatemala border to reopen so I can return to Guatemala. I was stuck in Mexico for a while. So when they reopened their border in September, I was booking a ticket and coming back home. So check and see which borders are open. Check and see what the restrictions are. If you're watching this video a year later and all the borders are open, then go pick your country and just go. It's actually not that hard to become an expat and to leave your country. It's really not. And I know, and I think a lot of women as well are worried or probably a little scared about traveling as a female solo traveler. And I just want to say, it's not any more dangerous than where you live right now, right? I mean, there's crime in the United States, there's crime in Canada, there's crime all over the world. So it doesn't matter what country you move to, there is crime. And as far as safety goes, you just use your common sense. Like here, for example, here in Guatemala, I wouldn't travel by car or drive on the streets at nighttime, like late at night. If you're going from, a city to another little town or something, traveling at night isn't really highly recommended. So I'm going to stay off the streets at night. You know what I mean? You can walk around at night. It's pretty safe to walk around at night. Where I live, it's very safe. Use your common sense. And it's the same common sense you would use if you were in your country. Don't leave your purse on your cart and walk away and expect your purse to still be there or your wallet. People are going to steal shit. It's the same here too. It's the same no matter where you go. Use common sense. It's very, very safe. Don't get into cars with strangers. You wouldn't do that in your own town either. So being a female solo traveler is a lot safer than people think. People don't realize that it's actually pretty safe if you use your common sense and you don't, you have to be careful. You can't trust everybody as soon as you get to the country where you're going, right? You have to make some friends, make some expat friends, preferably people that have lived in the town that you're going to for a while, and, ask questions, get to know your area. So that's all. I just wanted to share that little story with you about how I went from Canada and how I ended up in Guatemala, how my life is absolutely amazing. This is really funny. I haven't worn a watch since I left Canada because time doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what time it is ever, any time of the day. Sometimes I'm not even sure what day of the week it is. There's no stress. Life is very simple here. It's very beautiful. And when you realize, once you leave your country, and especially for me in Canada, I mean, I had a car and I had an apartment and I had insurance and I had all these bills coming out of my ass and I had this and I had, all this debt and all that kind of stuff. And when you leave your country and you move, I moved to a third world country, all that is like completely gone. I don't have a car. I have a scooter, but I don't have a car. I don't have insurance. I don't have debt. I don't have anything. I buy my food. I pay my rent. I pay my cell phone bill. And that's like $20 a month. Like, it's just, your level of stress goes from here to like here. Like, it's really crazy. And your quality of life goes up like a million times. So anyway, I'm just going to leave you with that. If you are thinking about leaving your country, you're thinking about moving, or you want to become an expat, or you're tired of life wherever you are, it's not that hard to do. It really isn't. It's going to take a little bit of work if you're still working. If you're close to retirement, get ready, choose your country, and start thinking of a place you want to leave and move to. Oh, this gorgeous red bird just flew across. I wish you guys could have seen that. So anyway, that's the story. That's what I want to share with you guys today. I hope you got a little bit out of this message. Maybe we'll talk next time. Next video, we might talk a little bit more about the freelance world. For those of you that are still working and want to leave and not sure how to do that, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm not really sure. This is just going to be a really random channel with random women over 50 topics. So I don't know what's going to come up next week, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for being here. If you did like this video, please share it, comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I am going to come on here probably at least once a week for sure, maybe twice. So that's all I got for you guys today. And before I leave, I also have another channel where I do angel card readings, because I am an angel card reader. So I have another channel. I'll drop the link to that down below so you can go check out my angel card readings, because maybe that's something that resonates with you as well. So anyway, that's all I got. Goodbye from sunny Guatemala. I love you guys, and I'll catch y'all back here again soon. Bye for now.